In this video, I'm going to show you how to fold an origami Sakura Star designed by Ali Bahmani from Iran. You can check out his Flickr album for many gorgeous folds. Now, the Sakura Star can be shaped in many different ways. Here's a picture of 6 of my folds. The top left, light green model, actually shows the reverse of the model, and all the others the front. While it's obvious the models have the same base, you can also see how diversely it can be shaped. Now, here are 2 models from the photo. One resembles a cherry blossom, and the other a star. They were folded from pentagons. But the Sakura Star can also be folded from other polygons, for example a hexagon. This one perhaps resembles a daffodil. So, all 3 of these models were actually folded from a polygon that I cut from a square sheet of paper with a side length of 15 centimeters or 6 inches. The diameter of the model, that's about, kind of from a point to that edge, if you kind of envision a circle around the model. The diameter is then about 7.5 centimeters or 3 inches. And depending on the shaping, the height might be 1.25 centimeters or a half an inch, or of course it could be shaped completely flat. Now this video is going to be in 3 parts. First, I'm going to take a square and cut a pentagon from it. Then I'm going to fold the base twice, and then I'll show you how to shape the star and the cherry blossom. And the daffodil is shaped just like the cherry blossom really, except that you fold it from a hexagon and not a pentagon. So, let's get started. I actually have a video that shows you how to cut a pentagon from a square, but Ali showed me a different way and I wanted to demonstrate that. So, we're going to start with the white side up. We're first going to fold point to crease the diagonal. Then on one edge we're going to mark the halfway point and then 3/4. So this is the halfway point, and then 3/4, and then we also want the center of that diagonal crease. Now we're going to start a crease in that central point so that this edge lies exactly on that 3/4 mark. So I'm first going to pinch down here to get it right in the center. Then I'm going to move this over so that the edge lies exactly on that 3/4 reference point. Can you see here? It starts right down here and it matches exactly with that reference. Then we're going to take this edge and fold it over to match with that edge. Always ensuring that we get a nice sharp point down here and crease. Then take just the top flap and fold it over to that edge. And then fold in half, like this. Try to match up the layers precisely to get a nice, precise pentagon. Now we're going to make a crease that starts in this lowest point right here, in this corner of the top layer, and is in a 90-degree angle to that edge. So I'm just going to rotate this. I'm going to start a crease in that point right there, and then align edge with edge to get that right angle. And crease. And then unfold. Now you can cut right along here to get your pentagon. I'll just take some scissors and cut right along that crease. There we go. This paper we don't need, and now we have a nice, precise pentagon. And now that we've cut it, we can start with the real folding. All of the creases we created, we actually need for the model. So we're going to start by taking this edge and bring it to the center so that, this crease lies on top of itself. And then we're just going to create a crease between these two creases right here. So it goes over two sections. And we're going to do that on all of the sides. To make sharp creases here, we want to later collapse the model on these creases, so stronger is better. Then we're going to flip the model over, and then we're going to create another smaller pentagon inside by aligning this crease line again with the center. And again, we're just going to mark between these two creases just along this section. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pinch this, then I'm going to make a small pinch right here, let it go so that I can see that I align this precisely, this crease with that crease line, and then just mark the crease between those two crease lines. And again, go around once. So now we have a larger pentagon in mountain folds and a smaller one in valley folds. Now we're going to pinch the creases that go to the points of the larger hexagon to make them mountain folds, so that this pentagon kind of starts to pop up like that. And then we're going to push those inside so that you have a small valley fold that leads over to the point of the inner pentagon and then the valley folds of the inner pentagon. So you just pinch those in place a little, and because the creases inside have the right direction, it should work quite nicely. You can see that I'm just very carefully pinching these, and once we're at that point, we can just push them inside like that. And then we can almost completely collapse this. So once you're at this point, you see that? You have those 5 flaps, and here you have that smaller inner pentagon. And then you can collapse these to one side, these wings perhaps. Oh, just be careful. And like that. Make creases that are nice and strong. And then to the other side, so that the crease line is on both sides. Doesn't really matter in which direction you do it first. Then we're just going to have one of these wings perpendicular and perhaps put this out of the way a little. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my finger inside here, this small section here, to push that point right there to the center of the model, so that these layers here are going to squash down. So I'm going to open this up and put a finger inside to open this. See that? Opening it up. And then bringing that point down, so that it goes exactly to the center. And then I'm going to make a crease on this side and on that side. And this is quite 3D now. So next we're going to do another squash fold by going inside these layers all the way to that point up over there. We kind of want to open the model a little so that you get a nice sharp point there. And then you want to squash this down so that this crease line right here matches with the crease line that goes to the point, so that you get a nice symmetrical model. And once you've got that started, you can then flatten that section completely. Then we're going to make a petal fold on this small section here. So we're going to pull this up, this point right here, while bringing the sides inside. I'm just going to zoom in so that it's a bit larger. So here you can see the point. I'm going to pull this up like that, and then these edges right here are going to be brought to the center of that small area. So I'm just going to turn this a little so that it's perhaps a little easier to see. Opening it up and then bringing that edge right here. It kind of turns into a long single edge, and bringing it inside. Can you see that it matches with the center? And same thing on the other side. Just opening this up, I like to kind of go with my finger inside here to open this up. Can you see? I'm really opening it up there. And then flattening that to get a petal fold. There you go. So now one of these 5 petals is done, and we're going to proceed with the next one. Close-up view of first going inside to open this up a little, then to push down to the center, make a crease on this side and that side, to then make another squash fold, make a nice sharp point in the center, get nice alignment, this crease with that crease line, and flatten completely. And then another one of those petal folds. There you go. And 3 more times. There you go. Now we're done with the base, but we're going to just add some creases here so that some of the paper here can be shaped more easily. So for this we're going to turn the paper around, and I'm just going to make a crease that starts right in that crease line here to get a nice point, and fold it in on each side. And then we're going to make small reverse folds, just pushing the paper inside. And if you want to have a nice precise tip, this is good for the star especially, then adjust the crease to go to that point. It's quite difficult to get perfect precision, so you know these might not match up completely. And then continue with the other ones. And now your basic Sakura Star is all done. I'm going to fold a second one, and then we'll go on to shape for the star and the cherry blossom. So now we have our two Sakura Star bases done. They both look the same. Now we're first going to form the star shape. So here's kind of the reference, and we're almost done really. All we need to do is shape these top petals. So what I'm going to do is I'm basically going to fold this in so that the crease, the edge meets the crease in the center. On both sides. And because we don't want these white tips, I'm just going to unfold it and then fold this inside. So you can see I'm opening this up and then pushing the paper inside like that. Just a simple inside reverse fold like that. Seen from above. Just pushing the paper inside. And then you have your first tip formed, and then you proceed with the other ones. Once more close up, I'm going to take this edge, bring it to the center line. Oh, I forgot one of the reverse folds here. So as you can see, if you don't do those, you can't simply do that shaping. So I'm just going to quickly fix that and make some reverse folds here too. It happens. Sometimes you miss a step. You just do it a little later. That's nothing major. Okay, now we can take the edge, bring it to the central crease. Now it works perfectly. Same thing on the other side. Forming that nice tip. Unfolding them and then pushing the paper to the back, pushing the paper to the back. There you go. And continue 3 more times. And then you have the star, perhaps more on a pentagon rather than a star within a star. So if you want to make the white layer here a bit more star shape, no problem. Then you can just crease this inside a little more or make a slightly asymmetrical reverse fold when you kind of do these folds initially. So I'm just going to show you what it looks like if you just fold it inside like that. You see that? You've got that kind of narrower tip, just like I did here too. Or you could change that crease to immediately run slightly differently. But, you know, I think like this, it's a bit easier to find out the exact shaping you want to do. And I think it's always great when you can take a model and experiment with it and give it your own personal touch by shaping it the way that, you know, you like best. So now we have our first Sakura Star all done. Looks very similar. This one was paper that was colored the same on both sides, so you don't have that color change. And of course you could try and work a little more precisely, but actually I like those lines. I think it gives a special touch. So now we have the star. Let's move on to forming the Sakura Star into this cherry blossom. So we're just simply really going to change the way these petals are formed. Can you see with the star we went all the way to the tip, and here we don't quite go to the tip. So what I'm going to do as a reference is I'm going to start in this point down here, and I'm going to bring that point towards the center. And you know, I try to get this quite symmetrical, so I like references. So I have that reference point, and then if you bring it to the center, then you have one shaping, or you could try to get a right angle here or something like that. And then you do that on each of the large petals. And again, bring that to the back to hide that paper. And now you have a differently shaped petal. So do that all around. And there you go. And now these sections of white paper, I think they're just not necessary for the cherry blossom, so we're just going to fold them to the back. I'm just flattening this out completely. And it makes the model slightly 3D in the back, and I think if you don't flatten it quite as thoroughly, it kind of makes the flower pop up a little from the table, and I like that. Of course you can flatten it completely like I did here, so it really lies flat, and you just have to make the creases a bit stronger. So there you go. Now we just need to finish that nice shaping of the inside, and it's really quite easy. All you do is you open the petal folds. You see that? Open it on one side, open it on the other side so that it's opened like this, kind of somewhat unfolded. And then what you do is you take that tip and tilt it out so that basically you've got a small mountain fold that runs perhaps halfway between this top point and, you know, where it lies flat. And this is all up to taste, right? I mean, you can shape it however you want, but this is just a reference for you. There you go. And then you do that all the way around. Opening it up and shaping it so that you get that nice floral center. And maybe tilt those tips a little more. And then oh look, this unfolded. But now your cherry blossom is folded. And you can see here I made the petals a bit wider. Here I made them a bit narrower. Every flower is slightly different, and that's just the way nature is too. So there we are. We have the cherry blossom, we have the star shape, and as I mentioned in the beginning, do try folding the Sakura Star from other polygons, for example a hexagon. I have a video on how to cut a hexagon from a rectangle or a square too, so do check that out and give it a try for this nice daffodil. I really love the model. I think Ali Bahmani did a superb job, and I'm excited to see more of his work. And with that, I wish you happy folding, and bye bye.